welcome back to Lawsuits. This is Arati speaking.
This is Barsha.
This is Sagar.
And this is Luxman.
So how are you guys feeling today? Are you guys well?
Yeah.
No one's got the COVID symptoms or anything?
No.
Nah.
Not that they know of.
Not that we know of now.
That's good to hear. Welcome to the Lawsuits podcast. Have you guys ever been in a podcast or?
Personally, no, I've never been in a podcast.
This is our first time in it, brother.
Yeah. First time.
How do you guys feel about that?
Bit nervous.
Nervous?
Uncomfortable, yeah.
Uncomfortable? You guys will be fine.
Yeah.
But even we used to be like that at first.
Even now, this episode took 5 takes before this.
Starting,
So yeah.
So let's dive into it then.
Actually, before we dive into it,
Oh yes, if our listeners have or have not noticed yet.
there's 2 voices that are a bit manly. I know. So yeah, usually there's 4 of us. Arati, myself, Rasmita and Dole. Unfortunately today Dole and Rasmita could not be here, but we do have 2 very special guests, Laxman and Sagar, to fill their seats. And then I guess we'll go on to talk about why they're here in Ava.
Mm-hmm.
So today's conversation is
a bit
very
taboo.
Very taboo. I guess if you have seen the title, you guys know exactly what we're going to be talking about. And I just want to begin this podcast by saying that, yes, it's going to be very controversial, especially हाम्रो यो Nepali community ma, and especially as the girls are hosting it too. So that's going to be another topic. So any listeners that do feel uncomfortable with this topic, parents, please, you can
turn away,
turn it off, or just mute it. You can, watch it throughout. Just mute gare rakhda huncha. But yeah, just any parents or relatives that do not feel uncomfortable, or any friends or people, our age or whatever. If you don't feel comfortable with this topic, please click away now.
But if you are interested, then keep listening.
Yeah. So, I guess we can discuss about how this conversation even came about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to explain that bit, or shall I go on?
I could touch on it slightly. So basically, me and Sagar were just talking. We were doing this thing called pick, where you pick items and whatever. And we were just talking, and yeah, we just started to talk about girlfriends, this, that, and then how sex is included with girlfriends and relationships. And then I'm not too sure how it came up, but we just asked each other the question. It just happened, didn't it?
Yeah, so I guess they asked each other, what did you ask each other? It was kind of like
it's a random thing, like obviously we are boys, obviously we when we see sexy girls, what we think oh, tila ba ito.
Oh, this guy's the nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it began.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and I guess, I don't know, I didn't hear this part of the conversation because I was also in the chiller with them where I work. We basically, us 3 work together right now.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear the first side of the conversation, but I just remember going, oh, you ask her. No, should we ask her? We should. They were saying that
That's a
too.
weird thing.
To be honest, we had our opinions on the question.
Yeah.
But then we really wanted a girl's opinion, and we saw you walk past, and we obviously feel comfortable with you, so we're like, oh, we need to ask her, but both of us are too scared to ask her because it's a touchy subject.
Obviously, because she's a girl, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I think the first thing was when Luxman came up to me and said, oh, Barshidi, can I ask you a question? Maybe in a little bit. I'll say I think you hesitated for a bit, and I was like, sure. I was like, sure, go ahead. Because I'm an open book, so I don't really care. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. And next thing you're like, oh, in a bit, okay. And then so the question that you guys asked me was, do you guys remember what it was?
Would you date someone if they've had sex before?
Yeah, so in basically a topic of virginity and how is it really important to you? So before I go on to answering that questions, before answering that question, let's talk about this topic and I guess why it's so controversial in the Nepali community ma, right? Just want to say before we go forward if you at any point in this podcast, if you feel uncomfortable with answering any of the questions, please just say it. You don't have to. No, we're not gonna force you to answer it at all. Yeah. So it's entirely up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. So
don't feel like we're police and interrogating. The criminals are dancing, and then the criminal always says no comment unless they get a lawyer.
That's what I mean.
We don't have a knife against your I don't even know. Ignore me. Anyways. So talking about sex, virginity, and all this stuff. Why is why is it so taboo in our culture? Like, why is it such a, like, कुरा नगर in our culture? Why do you think that is?
अब केटीहरूको त कुरै नगर्यो भने चाहिँ it's a whole different
area we can get into.
Yeah.
I mean, I think more than anything, it's just what your parents have, like what your parents' views are as well. Because more than anything, that's how you grow up and that's how you see things. So whatever your parents have seen, this is my opinion, like whatever your parents have seen, you're obviously just gonna like be following their footsteps and do what they're doing and make them proud in it as proud. But yeah, I think like virginity, everything is just, it's a bit of a very like touchy subject in Nepalese culture.
Oh my god, yes. What do you think, Sagar? Like, why is such a taboo in our culture?
Like obviously, Hannah, our culture is like very strict thing. Yeah, we are not so open-minded. If we talk about this thing, they think like, "Oh, that's boka, you can't blah 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 blah." But which is very wrong. Okay, we should not think that way. Okay, that is wrong. Like people need to educate यस्तो कुराहरु पनि क्या हैन. Like that's why in the village ma, like they don't have any educated यस्तो कुरामा and they get so many babies. That's so wrong. I think in my opinion, like we should talk like यस्तो कुराहरु. That is very good.
It's good to speak. Like,
I think it's the same thing from like a female perspective, where if a female were to talk about it, then parents will be like, "Oh my god, you're such a shame to the family. And why are you talking about it?" And I would even say if you are a very open-minded woman, but if you are in a circle of very close-minded people, they will instantly judge you upon that. Okay? They're going to think, she must be a slut, she must be a whore. That's why she's talking about all this, and that's why she's so comfortable in her skin to let it out. But that should never really be the case.
No. Do you think, this whole like, bolnu hudaina, excuse me, यस्तो कुरा गर्नु हुँदैन, it's just amongst our parents' generation, or do you think there are people in our age category that also share perhaps the same viewpoint as our parents?
I think it just solely depends on where you are.
Good.
Obviously, if you're in Nepal, it's a different story. You're gonna think different because everybody else around you is gonna think different. Obviously, we're in UK. There's a lot of white people that think obviously that sex is normal. It's a norm. So I mean, yeah, for me, I just think it's location, like where you are, the situation you're in.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? It's like parents like here British parents or like white people, they'll be like to their kids if they are like 18 and over, "Oh son, here's a condom,"
Yeah, oh my god,
like that stigma is there for them. Whereas for like Nepalese people, or maybe like even mainly Asian, it's like they don't even say a word about it.
Did you? I mean,
I think I was going to touch on something else. I think like Nepalese parents as well. Since they've come here, like for your parents' example, in it, like you said, your sister's got like Keta Satira now as well. So obviously, I think Nepalese parents, as they come to UK, I think most of the people that come to UK, they start to realize like they need to change up. Like their views and opinions won't be heard out here. So obviously, I think that's another factor too as well.
Yeah, and I don't think it's like something they will just grasp onto that concept. And I think as
hard,
a younger generation, we do need to talk about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you said, it was through generations.
Exactly.
Your generation's there's your younger sister's generation. I think it takes a while for them to like get in their head, but I mean, I think people will understand in it once they get along.
Yeah, I would still say it's like a 50-50 of like what people think about it still.
This is whole the nature versus nurture. Okay? It's such a it like applies to this as well. I guess like okay, what do you think, Sagar? Like, do you think do you kind of agree with Loxman or?
Yeah, it's true. Place here पनि हुन्छ. तर it depends on आफ्नोमा के त. Like it doesn't matter place and आफ्नोमा. Like in the future, if I have a daughter, I don't mind केटा साथीसँग घुमेको. I don't mind because even though like घुम्यो रे like पछि केही भयो रे obviously I feel bad, तर I don't mind किनकि that's a lesson for her.
It's experiences, right?
She needs to like bad lesson she needs to know the experience of her. So I don't mind.
And I think what parents maybe don't realize, or I don't know if they do, that they want to protect their child, obviously, but strict parents create really sneaky children.
That's true.
Like us.
It's
like
us, I mean you. You mean you?
Because you have this desire to go out, not to do anything not but you want to go out, So when they say don't, then obviously you're gonna find other ways to lie and then go out. Okay.
I think that's the barrier that parents put up for like especially daughters or like parents who have very strict views and opinions about these kind of things. Like, you put up a barrier a wall for your child, but that child will climb up that barrier if that child wants to do something. Okay, so
and especially around that age, it's like peer pressure, you know. Influences,
that's true. But personally, I've been through that as well because you know, my girlfriend, obviously her parents are very strict. Like,
is she the only daughter?
No, she's got two sisters. She's got two older sisters, but then she
Youngest.
Her older sisters are just like her parents. If you get me, like they're not helpful in any situation. They'll just make the situation worse. So like, well, I mean, the situation is my situation, not their situation at home. But yeah, I've seen that. Like, I've seen obviously my girlfriend like rebel against my parents. This that. So.
Quick question: does your girlfriend or sisters, do they have a really big age gap, or is it like?
Yeah, it's a fairly big age gap.
Well, it's like parent kid role, and then especially I guess her being the youngest as well. Yeah,
okay. They become more precious.
I wouldn't say it's very big. I just say about 6, 7.
Okay. Okay, this is bigger than what I thought because I was in my head. I was thinking like 3 years. So I guess. Okay, 6, 7 years.
So I guess
it's quite a bit.
They're a lot more protective.
Yeah.
So I guess, well, the other question that we had and we wanted to ask, I think we kind of touched up on it. Yeah. So basically, just to put it out there, it was our generation and younger generation now more open to the conversation of sex, which I think we all agreed on. But it also depends on the location. Okay, so I guess let's circle back to the original.
The main topic.
Main topic. So yeah, when you guys approached me in the chiller, like,
what did you guys think at first?
Yeah, when you guys approached me in the chiller, Locksman actually came up to me and was like saying, Dee, I've got a question for you. Is virginity very important for you? Or when you know, is it like when you marry that person, when you date or not?
Just a relationship.
Yeah, just a relationship. Is virginity really important to you? And I said, I didn't think I even hesitated. I just said, no, it's not. Yeah. And both of these guys, they were shocked.
We were shocked. It was such a bold answer. Like, we was not expecting that.
And I think it was because it was like straightforward. I was like, no, I don't really care. And you guys,
we're just like, what?
Yeah.
We're like, what?
No,
I know you know.
So yeah, both of them, you guys were both like, what? Now, and then I was shocked. Yeah, I was like, wait, what do you guys think? You know, like I was shocked with your reaction. But yeah, what
was your answer then, Sagar and Lakshman, when she asked back, what do you guys think about it?
Obviously, when she said that, I'm gonna let him answer. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, Sagar.
Let him answer.
I was not expecting the answer from her. Right?
So were you not like prepared to answer if she said no?
I mean, no, because we did touch up on we were talking about the subject before, so we knew what we were gonna say. But the fact that she said that was like she went completely against our views. So we're just like, what do we say now?
So basically,
quiet.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
She threw you guys off.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because you guys at the time, I mean, even now, I don't know, you guys had a very opposite view to what I had because you guys were saying it is important, you know? And then I think that further and then it sparked the question, why? Because I think at the end, they started questioning me and I was interrogating them at the end. Like, why is it important for you guys, and Sunny?
Yeah.
But you were saying, Sagar, you were shocked.
Yeah, I was very shocked.
Very shocked.
Like, what was going on in your head? I guess, like, when I answered that.
I mean, when you answered that, there wasn't much going on in my head. It wasn't like, oh, look at her, she's this, she's that. Like, I wasn't judging it anyway yet, but I was just like, it was a bit taken back about your response because with girls and stuff, you don't really expect them to like talk so openly about it. And obviously, when you did it, I was like, whoa, like,
yeah.
It's very open, isn't it? So it's good. It's good being open, which I really respect. Innit? Like, I respect the way that you answered it as well. It was very like. I don't know how to explain. Like, you were very confident.
Yeah, and I think we went to further.
And the fact that you knew what you were saying knows that. Like, it shows in it that obviously.
And I think like after they asked me that question, and I started questioning myself. Like, am I the only person that thinks this? And like, I came to these girls, and I was like, okay, so there's 2 guys at work. This is what they've asked me. What do you guys say? What is your response? So, Arati?
I was completely shocked. I was like, why would they think that? And then I think for me as well, it's something that I've never actually thought about.
No,
like I've never gotten into a relationship and thought, oh, you know, like my partner has to be a virgin. Or like I still have to be a virgin for that person. So I was like, wait, hold up, like why would they even say that kind of things? Yeah. So I don't even know if it's like just me and Bosch who kind of think like this, or other girls out there who think, wait, what is this? What like some guys think?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like we have asked not girls, but with us boys, and they've gave very similar responses to you guys.
Which is very shocking, isn't it?
I was pretty shocked about it as well.
I would have thought the opposite. And you know what? Like, I asked you girls, right? And I asked, like, Curry and Saru as well.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them said basically the same thing as us. We said. And I asked Christina and Elzadi as well. And all of them were like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. So that was really shocking how within the girls, like, we were kind of like had the same response right now. And then I actually asked my brother as well. He's younger than me, you know, he's 22. So I thought, oh, maybe he'll have like similar views as the guys. And you know what? His response really blew my mind because my brother was like, it doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, as long as the person isn't like going around sleeping and not carrying all these diseases or whatever. But like, he was literally like, oh, I don't mind. I don't think it's that important. If you love that person, you love that person. And I was like really shocked with his answer as well. So going back to our chiller time at work. So you know how, so basically both of the guys said, well, when I said, no, it doesn't matter. And I saw their reaction, I was like, wait, what does it matter for you guys? And then you guys said yes. And initially you guys said, yes, it does matter. So do you want to expand on that? Like, why does it matter? Oh, why do you think it matters? I
mean, at the time when we were speaking about it, we were just thinking, like, it matters because if you think about it, like, virginity is a big thing. Like, it's not something just to be like, oh, it's a virginity, this, that, like, girls that had sex, whatever. It's a big thing, and obviously for a girl to have virginity, it's just, I'm not too sure, like, because now, I'm not gonna lie, I've talked to a lot of people about this, my views have changed, so, like, it's hard to explain, like,
that means you're making progress, well done.
Like, initially, I'm not gonna lie, the first thought that I had was, like, obviously, when a girl has sex, and you see that girl, you love the girl, whatever, but it's just personally, I think, like, if she's had sex with someone else before me, then it just be in the back of my head, you get me? And it'll just, like, bother me, irritate me. But that shouldn't be a thing, as I've learned in it now. But, I mean, that was my opinion back then.
I think at the time I even asked you, like, what is it? Is it a pride thing? Is it an ego thing, right? Is it a pride and an ego thing?
I think we are too narrow-minded.
Yeah, I guess it's narrow-minded, but I mean, it's good to have your own opinion as well, because there are a lot of people that have our opinion as well, do you get me, like, at the time. And obviously, if you think about it, like I said earlier, the virginity is a big thing, innit? That's what we were talking about when we were talking about it. So, I mean,
I think I just want to put something out there. Like, for us girls to answer, like, no, it doesn't matter. We're not saying virginity isn't a big thing enough. I just want to put that out there, because it might come out really wrong. Yeah. We're just saying that it's not...
The partner does not have to be a virgin.
Yeah, it's what we mean. I mean, it is still important.
Yeah, it is very important.
I mean, it'd be nice to have someone, like, virgin and everything, but it is what it is. That's what I've learned from everyone's answers, from what I've asked them now. So, I mean...
So, adding on to that, so why do you think, like, most guys have this kind of concept as to why their partner has to be a virgin? Do you think it is derived from, like, our parents' generation, where they're always, like, female, like, parents are you have to stay a virgin before you get married. You have to be a virgin for your partner, for your husband to get married off. Otherwise, it's a shame to the family. This the and
I think also, like, pure kumari or something, right? That's such a big thing.
Do you guys think, or have you guys ever thought about those things that might have affected, like, how guys think about this topic?
No, not because of parents.
No, it's just your...
Personally, I don't like it. Personally, I don't like it. Why I don't like it? Because, like, I think most of the time I was thinking, like, my wife, she needs to be virgin. That's the concept later when I was so disappointed. Yes, the one say.
Oh, okay.
If my wife is not virgin, obviously, मलाई चाहिँ हुन्छ.
Do you still feel that?
Yeah, I feel that. Okay. मलाई त अलिकति bad. Because, like, what I want is, like, obviously, first sex, you know, like, गर्दाखेरि त obviously you're gonna remember that guy, क्या, हैन? अब मेरो wife virgin छैन रे, उसको accident, who breaks your virgin भन्दाखेरि obviously she gonna think him, हैन? I don't want that, क्या. What I want is, like, मेरो wife मलाई मात्र हुन्छ नि.
Yeah. I guess, like you said earlier, that's basically pride, and that's mine type thing.
Pride, I guess, for you, if you were saying, like, oh, sanitihina, you wanted that, and also I guess that's like such, like, talking already stuck in your head,
engraved in your mind.
okay, adding on to that then, do you think it's fair, like, for example, you're not a virgin right now, and the girl has to be a virgin? Do you think that's fair, though?
Yeah, I want to add some more. Okay,
Carry on.
We boys are so dumb, like,
Yeah,
selfish.
Thank you for saying that.
We're very dumb, man.
Like, even in my girlfriend, like, just, मैले चिट गरिरहेको छ क्या गर्लफ्रेन्डलाई क्या and she knows about it हैन अनि उले पनि त्यही गर्यो रे क्या हैन obviously I don't enjoy it क्या मलाई मन पर्दैन क्या मैले चाहिँ गर्नु हुने रे उले गर्नु चाहिँ नहुने रे
that's a lot of boys opinion
we boys always like this guy I don't know why हामी मिस्टेक गर्छ चाहिँ के नहुने रे हैन उले मिस्टेक गर्नु चाहिँ like that's a big thing for us. What the hell, man?
And it's not just amongst the boys; it's the whole culture. Not only like
society,
not only just Nepali.
This kind of thing is like
it's a big thing, man. I'm not gonna. This is a big thing, but I think it's just society's got a big impact on it as well.
Exactly, it's so stupid because like even now, for example, if a guy were to sleep with 10 girls,
it doesn't matter.
Oh, legend, my man, right?
That is the biggest stigma there is.
Yeah, and a girl is to like maybe hook up with have one night stand,
and then maybe that rumor kind of went around, and then everyone's gonna be like, oh my gosh, she's the biggest whore.
Yeah. It's rubbish,
I don't know why we think like that, eh?
Again, it's like a society thing
I think
too,
that's just more than anything society, you know.
Oh my god.
Talking about society, I think Instagram's got a lot to do with this stuff as well.
Instagram.
Social media.
I'm going to slip this in
we'll
there.
say
I need to get
media.
social media into this, man. Social media's got a big
100%. Yeah, I do agree with that part as well.
Big part.
Okay, so I guess going on to, well, I guess त्यहीको कुरा continue गर्ने हैन. I actually like asked you another question because I think at that time when you asked me that question, I was just so shocked with your responses. Like I kept asking you so many other questions. So I said to you guys, what if like, for example, say virgin and the girl that you are attracted to has been in a relationship for a very long time and maybe has been with a guy lost her virginity, but has only been with that guy. Does that matter? Or is it still like, no, she has to be pure?
I think for Sagar, I think this answer will stay the same for him.
Yeah, same.
For me, I'm not gonna, my answer was like Sagar's before, but from what people are telling me, like I think,
you're more open.
Yeah, I'm a bit more open. Like I've seen myself, and then like I know now, like it's a bit. You can't just think narrow-minded. But I mean, that it's good to have your own opinion. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's not really narrow-minded like that. But I mean, I don't know, and it's just a bit of a weird subject. Like. Hard to explain.
It is very like complicated.
There is that I've slightly tipped over on the other side, but not too much. Do you get me?
You're still kind of like know where
I'm in the middle. I'm
literally
in the middle. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the following question really doesn't apply here.
Before you go into that, I'll add a few more things. So like Sagar kind of mentioned like pleasure in sex. Like of course, like everyone wants that, right? So I want to say like, say you're not a virgin, but you're saying that your future wife has to be a virgin, right? But that woman or that girl has never experienced sex. She has no idea, no knowledge of like how to pleasure a man. How would that make you feel? Versus
I'm not gonna, I think that's another thing. Like obviously when you have sex,
like is that something like you've thought about?
I mean, I think I will be okay, man.
You'll be okay.
Because like for guys, it's dominance, isn't it? Like you want to teach the girl. Not really. Like I mean, depending about. I mean, like for guys, you want to show the girl, innit? If anything.
Okay.
Like you don't want the girl really taking control of you. Like you're supposed to be the man.
I guess it's again being the man kind of comes into the picture.
Pride, literally.
And what I think is like, she's clean. No
again with the pure.
Again with the pure.
Okay.
That's it.
So I also had this question which I don't know if it will make sense into this, but anyway, so let's go for it. Because I had so the question was, what if they had lost their virginity, like maybe let's say once, aka cherry popped boyo,
also known as hymen,
so getting into that scientific route. I was gonna say, there has been so many cases. Is it about popping the cherry? Is it that's what you want, or
do you guys have that kind of
pride in I'm the one who popped it? Is that part of it?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Wow.
Okay,
that's the thing.
Okay.
Like, I think you literally just want to spot.
And she's gonna remember us forever. That's the thing, yeah.
The reason that I asked you that, is because there has been so many cases, scientifically proven as well, now, that this being cherry popped in it, there's many other factors. So it's not only sex. So it's like horse riding, gymnastics, like doing all these sports activities that are really pop. So what if like you met a girl who's pure, as you say, very pure, hasn't had sex, but I guess because of her childhood growing up, she was doing gymnastics, so she was into horse riding or whatever. She popped her cherry. Does that still matter? Because technically you won't be able to pop it. However, she's still a virgin.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. For personality, that doesn't matter.
Okay, for you then?
No.
Okay, so the woman or the girl has to not have sexual intercourse with someone else before you do. That's the importance. That's the importance.
I'll talk about what we were talking about, and like obviously it's the thought in the back of your head that is like.
So after, in a way, after I don't want to say insecurity, but
that's fair enough.
after
Insecurities, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it'd be cool to have like other girls, bring them on and discuss this topic again and get their point of views.
Maybe we can do in future topics and then just see what other people will say. Okay, that's quite interesting then.
So, yeah. So, like, you guys wouldn't mind if the woman is not able to pleasure you?
Nah.
It's just being the first.
Wow.
But I guess, do you find that it's because...
first, I choose first, man.
Oh my god.
Do you feel, why is that? Do you think that pleasure भन्ने कुरा बिस्तारै community गर्दा you can
Okay, that is true. That can be developed.
That's the thing.
That can be developed. That's true. But do you guys know or like heard of cases where like the guy has been with a girl who is a virgin, but they've left the girl because the guy couldn't get pleasure from her?
I heard this.
Have you guys heard of those cases?
I heard this, yeah. Some boys they do, yeah. True,
which is very sad again.
True, very true. Yeah.
Coming back to the topic, because like many girls and they have this huge pressure from like families saying you have to stay pure and you have to stay kumari for your husband. But then you know if she's devoting herself to that guy and then that guy does that to her and then leaves her, then what becomes of her then?
Yeah.
Do you not think that, like, for example, a girl that has had a sexual partners in the past she's able to learn few tricks, I guess.
Yes.
And able to pleasure you guys? Like,
what I think is like it's good to give a pleasure, but what I think like when she is doing that thing to me, I feel imagine on like she did that to
other guys.
Okay.
Oh,
fuck's sake, man.
So that aspect is very strong.
Okay.
I think more than anything that's personal.
Yeah.
That's not very like it's not
across all men.
Not across all men. Like obviously, like you said, your brother in it, like he's got a complete different opinion to what we had. So I mean, I think that's just more personal than anything.
Cool.
That's very interesting.
Interesting.
I mean, yeah, like I'll go back on it. I'm in the middle in it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really one-sided at the moment.
Okay, so you're still in the middle. You're still like, so okay, Locksman is still, you're kind of now in the middle. And now, because after not only talking to us, prior talking to having this episode, you talked to other people and had different viewpoint. Sagar here, perhaps you still have your original, and then yes, it is important. It's
very important for me.
Yes, everyone has their own opinion. That's good.
So that's that. I guess, is there anything you want to ask in terms of like virginity?
Yeah, I want to, okay, let's imagine, right, for you guys and for us here, let's imagine that the tables were turned right now and the woman in the world said, I need a guy who's a virgin. What would your guys' thoughts be on that?
To be honest.
Would you guys think of yourselves as like, I've lost the game?
Wait, like, what do you mean?
I mean, like, okay, you know, like how guys say, like, oh,
girl needs to be a virgin
to marry them.
Okay.
But then I'm saying,
reverse.
Yeah, so flip it and then say, if women ask for a man who's a virgin, would you guys
feel a certain way, I guess?
Like, yeah, oh my god, I'm not in the league anymore because no one wants to marry me.
Oh.
You know?
To be honest, boys are always virgin, always. You know,
he's gonna go back to that.
Always virgin.
Okay, Sagar, when you explained that in a Locksman, you kind of made faces like, what? Why? Because you know where Sagar, you said all men are virgin.
Always.
Yeah.
Why?
What do you have to say to that?
I don't know. Like
I think he never heard this before.
Yeah, it's a bit of a whoa. Like I've never heard that one in it. Like boys are virgin. Like they always start. What did you say?
He said he always virgin.
Oh no, I don't think that's true.
I've never actually heard that aspect.
I can guess.
No, I guess you can. I can see where the concept comes from.
I understand it, but it doesn't
what I mean.
make sense though.
But yeah, it doesn't really make sense in it. But I can see where it's coming from in it.
Soche bhane चाहिँ okay maybe, but actually then no.
Actually, it's no obvious.
But आफ्नो सोचाइमा चाहिँ त्यस्तो. Okay, sure. I also wanted to ask, and I asked this when we were working as well. I know. In this generation, come on now, it's very difficult. Like, for example, you guys are both single, I know. In this generation, it's very difficult to find a girl that's pure. I know. Especially, like, I guess, girls that have been brought up in this Western society, they're influenced, and so it's very difficult, you know. So, how would you go on, I guess,
about that issue?
Yeah, like it's very.
So how do you find a girl who really is a virgin?
Yeah, how do
she could be lying to you?
Yeah, how do you even know?
How do you know?
That's the thing. Yeah. We know, okay? Cause
wait, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay, it must be a guy's thing to know.
Yeah, I guess.
Nah. Virgin, you know. Once we break that virgin, you know, the blood came out. Yeah.
Okay, alright, this goes back, okay, I'm gonna add something else, okay, so that goes, again, back to the getting to pop it and break the hymen, right? But we also said earlier that there are other activities, like biking and horse riding or gymnastic, whatever, can cause the tear. Okay, so this is going back into science and that back of scientific reasoning again. So that is one of the things that you guys look for in a virgin then. So when you have the first sexual intercourse, then you know she's a virgin when she bleeds, right? But what if she does say she is a virgin, but if she doesn't bleed, would that make you disappointed? Because, like, you know, like women using tampons break the initial muscle or tear that muscle
tissue
in the muscle tissues, which obviously then bleeds already, which means that she's not going to bleed when you have the first sexual intercourse.
So what are your thoughts on that? Having a girl that's pure, but when obviously you do it, she's not bleeding. So how would you feel? Let's paint a scenario. Okay, now you're in a bed with a girl. You know for a fact she hasn't had sex. You know she's pure. And when you go do it, and I guess after the intercourse, you realize that she's not bleeding, or you weren't really able to pop it. Okay, like how would you feel at the moment? Take a deep breath, guys.
Question mark.
Question mark. Explanation mark, please.
I think this is something that maybe guys have not really thought about, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got no answer for that.
No answer, okay, that's fine.
I've got no comment for that one.
Even onto that, you know, like some girls, apparently, they're born without a hymen as well. So, you know, you can't...
Break it,
you can't break it, yeah.
While we are on that topic of, like, you know, virginity, and I want to add on, we looked at an article on dating and sex among emerging adults in Nepal. This study is actually very old. It was conducted in like 2011.
Which actually sounds like freaking only 2 years ago, but it's like 9 years ago.
It's a decade, nearly a decade. I just want to quickly add on one fact that they have stated from doing this report. But the report links back to another 2001 study that was carried out. So that then becomes 20 years ago, right? Well, 19 years ago. So what it says is, a recent study in Nepal reported that 15% of adolescent boys engaged in premarital sexual intercourse, and another study among young factory workers in Kathmandu showed that 35% of unmarried boys and 16% of unmarried girls have experienced sex. So likewise, a study among colleges in Kathmandu has found that 40% of young men reported having had premarital sex. And I think this kind of links back to how Barsha was saying that in this age and day that, you know, it's kind of nearly impossible to find people who are virgin. So I just wanted to quickly add that. And this study was, because it was such a long time ago, I'm pretty sure like the figures have like doubled or tripled now.
What I found, I mean, I personally did not finish reading everything enough. You know, earlier, Laxman, you said that in Nepal, I guess it depends on the location as well, no? But even in Nepal now, people are very open to it. And this was done in 2011.
Yeah.
And people then already were very open-minded, especially people from the city, urban areas. Okay? And because it was mainly influenced through media, which I found really interesting.
That is very interesting because, you know what, this article really talks about how and when social media had a really big impact. So basically up until 1995, if I can get let me find it. Okay, so basically up until 1995, right, the only mass media there was in Nepal was delivered by what's the names?
Radio Nepal.
Nepal and Nepal Television.
Which was government owned.
Yeah, those were the only two legal forms of mass communication. But now, however, after like 1995, like there were loads of private radio stations and televisions and channels and newspapers which entered the mass communication business. And these media often delivered youth-oriented programs. And there has also been an increase of sexual images as part of widely available Indian television channels, which includes Western program popular among young urban people.
Okay, going on to that, I find it so interesting now. Like, you know how Nepali films, Indian films, they would like, imagine a girl and a guy like run away or whatever. They would like somewhat make out, but the make out would be like the guy would be kissing the girl from the feet going up, right? And then nighttime hunza and we say kukurika, and then
they have a baby.
Yeah, and it's so surprising now because they full on make out, and I'm not used to it. Like it's just so weird to me.
It is very weird.
I just wanted to add another question, which is, I mean, if you can answer if you want to. Did you guys ever receive the talk from your parents about, you know, sexual intercourse and everything?
Like any advice?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, me and my parents were very close, I think. Like, personally, I think we're very close. Like, I tell my mom, like, pretty much everything. I tell my dad pretty much if I've got a girlfriend or if I do this. I mean, obviously, sex is a completely different topic. But obviously, my parents, they're not dumb in it. They know what we're doing. They know, like, I've got a girlfriend, whatever. So they're obviously, like, be safe, do whatever. Like, if I'm not going to stop you. But yeah, I think that's just because I'm a guy. Because obviously for my sister, it's completely different.
Different.
For my sister, they can't really like just go up to her, talk to her about it. And obviously my sister, I think she feels uncomfortable as well. So I mean,
oh yeah, definitely. I've never had the talk with my parents,
so
like I wouldn't like never initiate it.
That's what I mean. For me, like, because I'm a guy, I feel like I can just be very open-minded with my parents about stuff like that. So it's very easy to speak to my parents about stuff like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, my parents have told me quite a lot.
Have they?
That's good.
That's really good, isn't it? Having that open communication. In terms of my family, I would say we're pretty open, but I guess not that open. I know that I still somewhat had a talk, and it actually came from my father, which is really interesting, you know?
That's pretty mad.
Yeah, so Dad, if you're listening, please go away. But right now, the way he even presented this was basically, this is when I went to Seoul, India now.
Okay.
My boyfriend was, again, already starting, and my dad found out, or I actually told him, like, yeah, you know, Pops is also going to this university. Then he was like, oh, that's why you chose this university, right?
That's one thing as well, because I go to the same university as my girlfriend.
Yeah.
When I told my parents my girlfriend was going to that uni, they're like, so that's why you're going.
Yeah.
And obviously after that, like,
They know.
it was quite recent that we had the chat as well. Because obviously I had recently been going uni and stuff. So, I mean, like,
Where they're like, be careful.
They'll just like obviously take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be too much in it. Like, they're just like, be mature, be yourself.
And I really respect that as well, and especially our parents. It must be really hard.
It is like they've never received that kind of talk from
and it's very
parents.
new to them. I mean. And plus, like mom always says, like छोरा-छोरीहरू हाम्रो आँखामा जहिले young हुन्छ. So even though you're like 25, even 30, and they'll still treat you like a child. At the end of the day, you're still a child to them. Anyway, going back to the talk with my dad. So, so we were literally, I think we had at the time dropped off my stuff at my accommodation, and we were heading back to my hometown, and obviously it's like a 45-minute drive.
Also, it happened when you get
we're in a motorway, and I couldn't escape.
Just the two of you.
Yeah. And then Dad was like, oh, that's why you're going to Solin choose गरेको रहेछ. And then he said, what to do and what not to do, right? And I was like, Dad, I know. At this point, my ears was going so red. And the thing is, like, I couldn't even jump out because obviously we're in a motorway. And then he goes, Dad, hanky-panky garne, no? That's what he said to me. And I immediately knew what he was talking about. So I was like, oh, that's so good, I know. And I think he was trying to get Ali be careful, especially for a girl. This is what Nathela, but I think both of us felt that awkward tension enough. And I was ready to just end the discussion. And Dad, I think he was ready, but he also felt like it was his duty to tell me. Yeah. So it was kind of like, and then we were kind of like, okay. And then we kind of changed the conversation really quickly. Going to you, Sagar. Did you ever receive the talk from your parents?
Never.
Yeah.
Because, obviously, man, we Nepalese people, like community, our family, we are never too like open with our children. Yeah. Since child, like all the time strict. I
wonder, like, where this aspect of nature derived from.
I guess it's different because about Amir, grown up for them, like majority of our parents were like grown up villages villages and even they never received this sort of talk. This was the taboo. I think they find it really awkward to open that conversation to us as well. So I guess it comes from their
But I think my parents are very personal because it's me, like, wherever it's not young, but like a couple of years back, I've been like slowly just
opening up to them.
just slowly opening up, and then obviously nowadays they feel comfortable enough to talk to me about it. So I mean, I guess that's just personal, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really working on relationship boundaries, isn't it? That's what it really is. Like, often enough, like, no one really talks to their parents about, like, these kind of things. And I guess because you don't talk about it, it stays that way forever.
Same with our family. I would say our family is very, very open. Very, very open with each other. I think to a point where Astine, we had a very, family, a little bit of a disagreement so we were like, you know what, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning we're gonna have a family meeting. The first family meeting we had, it was so awkward because it was like, okay, what do we say? And then it was kind of talking about what are some of the things that parents can learn from us and vice versa. Like any parents that are good at teaching kids is not helping us. So what do we need to go on? This is the book, okay? But
definitely, I think someone in the family, that one person always has to initiate it forward to be able to become a more open family.
I think my sister, she didn't have the balls to do that. I had to do it.
That's really interesting because within our family, because Lakshman, you've got older sister enough. For me, I've got a younger brother, and it was me who opened the conversation. Okay, like my younger brother, I don't know if he even cared. But yeah, I was the one. Again, and now I feel like they're comfortable with the conversation. So I guess leading on to the future talk. But I think we already know what the answer is right now.
But we'll just say it out anyway.
Would you want to give the talk to your children in the future?
Me, obvious. Because I don't want to be like a strict family. Okay? I want to be like open so they can share their feelings too. But our parents, they don't share it. Like we get nervous. I wanna when I share with my family, I get so
That's so.
Shall I say or not? That's why I don't want to be like that. I want to be like friend, like best friend, like. And they can say whatever they want.
And I think what the difference between our kids, I guess, future kids, and the parents, Amra parents, is the fact that Amra parents, the later stage, we're the one kind of introducing that talk to them, and now they're becoming a little bit open. Whereas in the future with our kids, I'm sure from a young age, we'll have like a very open relationship, so we won't have that awkwardness.
It's again that having the educational background as well, whereas they didn't have any of that, and where we've grown up in this kind of environment,
same with you, Lakshman.
Yeah, pretty much. I want to be friendly with my kids. Yeah, you get me. Like, obviously, it's nice to be friendly with them, but I don't want to be. I think me personally, I think I'll get into it. Like, I'll be too into it, and obviously, like, I don't want to do that as well. But I mean, it'd be nice being like tight with your children, as you'd say.
I have thought about giving the talk to the children, and I would definitely be open to it, but it's just a matter of how and what age.
When the time does come, and how do you start it?
You know what? I really don't want to sugarcoat it as well. I don't want to be like the birds and the bees. I just want to like beside bonnet, but I don't want to sugarcoat it so much where they're like, they say like it's a flower once, and you're like, fuck that shit. It's not a flower. So
when was like the last time you guys went back to Nepal? Random question.
2014.
Oh, quite a long time ago.
2019
last year.
Me too. 19.
You went last year. I think I went back in 2018.
You used to go like every year.
Every year, right?
Before.
I couldn't because there was a freaking stupid COVID. Like everyone's been to like temples, right? Nepal, ma.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever noticed like sexual sculptures, temples, or ma?
Yeah. Have you noticed that?
No, have you not?
Like,
you guys need to go next time.
I've always went there and just done the little rolly things.
Yeah.
And then just walk past and just done the rolly
If
things.
you really look into the carvings or not, literally there's like explicit images or and it's interesting. And the thing is like especially it happens within I think Hindu temples or and Hindu history there's a lot of like Karma Sutra and
I know
stuff.
Hindu,
yeah,
like, Hindu people are very open about it.
Yeah, it's
personally.
like
I find it a bit weird.
Do you know what personally. I heard? Bit of a history lesson. I don't know how true this is, so please don't quote me on this. That apparently India, it used to be very open-minded in terms of sex, virginity, and everything, and a very, very open because they're the one who like Kama Sutra they would But when the British colonized Gardahaze, obviously Christianity, this is no, then we have to shush. They were influenced by it. It's such a big taboo conversation.
Yeah, that is very understandable. But you guys, when you go to Nepal and go around temples have a look, and like any other listeners, because I was quite shocked when I think 2018. I don't think I ever noticed it before that, but like also 2018, like I was just taking my time around the temple and just sightseeing, and I was like, I looked up right because there was a gate, and then like it's the like how sculptures of Nepal are. And I was like, wait, hold up. I had to take a closer look. And I was so shocked. I was like, no. Because like about Hindu Mata, of course, like you hear about this. And I know about that. But yeah, it was so weird. But like Nepal being like a majority, 80% Hindu population, no one really talks about that private aspect of it. But then like it's, openly in... so openly advertised in temples. It's like weird.
And it's interesting how you went to the temple and you had a closer look and then you noticed. For me, I think growing up like temple or zanza, you don't really think too much of it.
You don't.
And for me, like my Lizzie, I think either somebody pointed out or maybe the article pointed out and somebody else pointed out oh shit, because for me going there it was so used to it and I didn't look into it details.
Other temples are very like religious.
Yeah,
exactly.
Holy,
that's what you think, right?
In Nepal, obviously, everyone's like not. I wouldn't say against sex, but they're like, this, that about sex. So like the fact that it's there is a bit like, whoa.
Yeah, so like I was really taken aback from that. I was like, hold up, no one talks about this, but you're displaying it and then openly for everyone to see. Like, and then what is this? What is going on?
You know what? It makes me question if there was a child and a child goes, "Mommy, what's that?" But
how do you explain it?
Yeah, she'd probably be like, "Kini murti." They'll just ignore it. Okay. It's odd, isn't it?
I think Nepal has become like a society of a big society where you just ignore things that are very visually in front of you. But
and also if you don't feel comfortable about it, and then they just avoid it.
Yeah, you shut it out.
Shut it out. They're like, nothing to see here. So, anyways, we're kind of coming to an end of this conversation. Do you want to add anything, Arati?
I mean, no. It would just be really nice to have like another session with girls, maybe who have like different viewpoints compared to guys. But of course, like we with our two guys here, Sagar and Lakshman, they only represent their opinion, so we don't want to put it out as like
this is what all guys think.
So this is definitely not what all guys think. This is their only opinion, which is personal to them, and we respect that, and we respect everyone's point of views.
Do you know what would be interesting for all the listeners as well? To let us know what your thoughts on this is. Like, is virginity very important to you? If so, then why? If not, then also why? Why?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know.
And like, were there like any of the questions that you had never thought about after, like which we introduced? So give it a thought.
I guess let's wrap that up then. Thank you so much, Lakshman and Sagar, for coming on this episode. It was a very interesting episode, Banum. And again, to all the listeners that feel comfortable or don't feel comfortable, whatever. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I would say the younger generation, we as a generation, we do need to start opening up this conversation now, whether it's with their friends or cousins, older cousins, and slowly towards the parents. But I think it's our duty in beside conversation. And there's nothing wrong about
talking about it openly.
Yeah. And just want to say as well, there's nothing wrong with being virgin, and also nothing wrong with having lost your virginity as well. Just putting that out there. So yes.
And do you guys want to add like any ending words or anything?
Anything at all before we wrap this up?
Thank you guys for having us, and your opinions are just as important as ours. That's what I'd like to say.
Same. Thanks for having us, guys. For the listeners, don't hate us.
Are you listening?
No hate.
Just allow us, yeah.
Because it needs to be told, you know.
Everyone has the right to their own opinion, you know. They say we shouldn't like say you're wrong. This is the one.
Yeah,
you know. And it's an open discussion.
Yeah, and you know what? It's really courageous of like Lakshman and Sagar to even like come out and like share their opinions, because not a lot of guys are up to this. Like you don't really. I don't think I've ever come across. Well, there probably does exist, but like especially Nepali society, I haven't heard of anyone who talks about this topic with like guys and girls panel. So it's been really fun. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been very enjoyable, I think, as well.
All right, so let's wrap that up again. Thank you everyone for listening. So yeah, like I said, if you would like to join in on the discussion, head over to YouTube, or you can just go on our Insta and join the conversation there. All right, see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Go.